information from the National Weather Service in Oklahoma out of Norman for at least 4 tornadoes in the state yesterday. A lot of this in the early morning hours. A high-end EF1, that's what hit the town of Purcell. This one yesterday morning, you can see how dark it is. A lot of this happening before even kids were at school. It had peak winds of 105 to 110 miles per hour, traveled more than 9 miles. Also the town of Shawnee, which is the video you're looking at here, an EF1 tornado that was confirmed there. This one with peak winds of 90 to 95 miles per hour and also on the ground for about 4 miles. The National Weather Service out of Norman, but also Tulsa, saying that they expect to survey more damaged locations later today. So we'll wait to see what other updates come out of it. Either way, scary morning. And I know that for the town of Purcell, they did cancel some school yesterday because of loss of power. Today, it looks like some kids, maybe in all the schools, are going to be virtual as a result to the outage issues. But nothing was really damaged at the schools and no reports again of injury. So we got out of yesterday morning okay. We got to weather this one. And this morning we have about 8 million people that are under 2 out of 5 severe storm risk. This does include portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Western Tennessee. So as we look at the scope of it, also not ignoring the fact that there's also a level 1 that goes into northern Alabama. But the highest risk is for that level 2. And that's where we could have really all the severe weather hazards, especially when it comes to tornadoes. We've already seen that verified this morning in portions of Louisiana as well as Mississippi. We finally were able to see all of the tornado warnings drop. The most recent one was further south in Mississippi. This one was allowed to expire. It had been associated with a radar confirmed tornado, but the circulation began to unravel a little bit, so the office allowing that one to expire. Thankful for that. But as you can see, I mean, Stephen, it's a nice spattering of severe weather that we have, of storms that we have, and really kind of 2 lines. If you do a closer look, it looks like maybe they're coming together now. We're starting to see maybe more of a phasing of the 2, but really messy and heavy rain.
It's true, and this isn't going to be the only batch of storms that we're watching this morning. These are just the ones that have been able to survive overnight and move into an environment that is a little more conducive for us to see. This also is laying the ground, which we're going to talk to here with Michael Estime in just a little bit, for a flooding threat. So you get so much moisture that just continues to run. It's always important to pay attention to where that front's at. Depending on where the front is, and given the fact that we've got a whole day today, temperatures near the Louisiana-Texas border are already in the mid-60s. So we're not post-front there yet.
Not yet.
We're going to see, I think, more development later this afternoon. It's going to be messy, like we're seeing this morning, but I think more storms are on the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and with the lack of forward movement with this front, it's kind of waiting for the energy from the west to move in to help give it that nudge. But in the meantime, we will have some energy to tap into, but it seems quite limited to areas further to the south, Louisiana, Mississippi, where you're seeing some of the brighter shades of orange and red. A little bit harder to get some of the stronger storms further to the north, but where you also have that low, better chance for twisting in the atmosphere. I think it's also, without the forward motion of this front and all that moisture coming in, it is a flood concern, and more so a flood concern than severe weather for some.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, especially with the fact that we've got all day to wait for this system to move on through. Sheer environment, I wouldn't say is, bonkers.
Right.
We have a bit of a south wind. The winds out of the southwest, they're not as I'll say they don't have as much rotation with height as you would often see for a system, but given the placement of that surface low, it's a weaker one, but that twist can sometimes generate enough spin in the atmosphere for some additional storm development. So we watch to see how these all play out, but we gotta wait for that system to be kicked out. Until it's kicked out, it's not going to want to leave the Gulf Coast. It's just what happens, especially the Texas coastline. So let's talk about the flood threat, right? Because we don't have just the severe weather, as Marissa mentioned. We bring in meteorologist Michael Estime. The flood threat is unique, Michael, because it was just last month that some of these zones were dealing with snow.
Yeah, and Stephen, not just that, but also they're parched too. We haven't seen a ton of rain in these spots as well. But I want to show this to you. It's some messaging from the National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi. And here is what they're saying, that the entire elevated region in that area that has that risk of 2 out of 4 inches of rain could see a couple of spots locally with 3 to 6, and in the worst case scenario, 7 to 8 inches of rain would be possible. So really demonstrates and highlights what could be a much more intense flood maker later on today. It's just a perfect storm, really, if you will, of what we have going on. Behind me, you're looking in Birmingham, Alabama, where again we have flood watches out for 10 million Americans. That flood watch just means that there's too much rain in a short period of time. It's common, especially near rivers, creeks, and streams, and it's within a shorter term, so just a couple of hours could lead to some significant flooding. It's one of the reasons why if you do encounter flooded roadways, turn around, don't drown, and of course know where your evacuation routes are just in case, right? We mentioned how dry it's been over the course of the past really several weeks. That all changes though. Flood watches in effect from Louisiana all the way up through Tennessee. And you don't see this every day. It's a 3 out of 4 flash flood risk. In that bullseye area of yellow encompasses almost 500,000 Americans from I-59 through I-20 and just east of I-55. And in terms of how much rain we could pick up, again, generally speaking, that pumpkin orange, that's 3 to 5 inches. But look at these little slivers here that you're seeing. That's what the National Weather Service is concerned about. That would be 5 to upwards of 8 inches of rain. Lots of moisture to be squeezed out of the atmosphere, being pumped in by, of course, our low-level jet guys. We have a stalled frontal boundary out this way that's helping to just converge all of that moisture. And you can see it through the day today, Stephen, tomorrow, and yes, even into the wee early morning hours of Sunday, we are still fighting through the rain. Again, I know there's severe weather on top of all of it, but just make sure that you're respecting those green polygons, which are, of course, those flash flood warnings.
That's true. It's easy to get caught up into those tornadoes, severe thunderstorm warnings as they're happening moment by moment, but the flood threat